The tactic that we'll use to solve a polynomial equation to get the occurrences of the variable untangled from each other is a property of the real numbers called the zero property of multiplication. And that says that if I multiply two numbers together and the product is zero, then one of my original numbers had to have been zero. Now that's different from saying anything times zero is zero, which is a weaker statement. This is saying if I'm multiplying numbers together and the product is zero, one of those numbers has to have been zero to begin with. And that is going to let us solve polynomial equations. When we write a polynomial equation in what's called its factored form, we'll have the factored polynomial on the left, and we'll have 0 on the right. And now we have an equation that says a product is 0. And so one of the factors has to be 0. Here we have three factors: 2x minus 1, x plus 3, and x minus 5. And for that product to be 0, one of these factors has to equal 0. So we're going to get three solutions to this polynomial equation, one solution for each factor. So here we'll add 1 to both sides and divide both sides by 2. One of our solutions is x equals a half. We'll subtract 3 from both sides. X equals -3 is another of our solutions. And then here we'll add 5 to both sides. X equals 5 is our third solution. We have three different solutions to this equation. And any one of those numbers makes our original equation true. We can check and confirm that. So when I have x equals a half, then 2 times a half minus 1 times a half plus 3 times a half minus 5 gives me 0 times, let's see, this is 7 halves times -9 halves. And of course, I didn't really need to work out what those other two factors were, because I'm multiplying three numbers, one of them 0. The product is 0. When x is -3, I'll have 2 times -3 minus 1 times -3 plus 3 times -3 minus 5, which is going to work out to -7 times 0 times -8. So again, I'm multiplying three numbers, one of them 0. That also works out to 0. Finally, when x is 5, I'll have 2 times 5 minus 1 times 5 plus 3 times 5 minus 5. That works out to 9 times 8 times 0, which again is 0. Plugging in any of those three numbers for x gives me a true equation. So each of those numbers separately is a solution to this equation. And notice what we did here. We took a linear factor of this polynomial, and we set it equal to 0. We're going to solve a lot of equations of the form something linear equals 0 as we continue to work with polynomials throughout this course, and indeed for the rest of our life as people who do mathematics. And the solution is always the same. It's always x equals negative b over a. And as you continue to practice this, you're going to be able to write down these solutions without thinking about the steps. And that's fine. If you're able to look at a linear equation and just see what the solution is, it is fine to just directly write down that solution without showing any steps in detail. If you need to write out the steps to find the solution, then absolutely do that, but you don't need to make a display of writing out the steps of solving a linear equation like this one.